It's been too long since you've been gone. I know, it's been way too long, but I'm back like I never left. And so, hey everybody, welcome to my channel. If you're new to my page, hello and welcome. If you are an old subscriber, hello again. Sorry it took me so long to post a video, but you know, life has just been life, let's just say that. And so, but anyway, I am back and I'm happy to be back. So today I am talking to my beginner actors. Hey y'all, I know you're there. So these are 3 tips for beginner actors, how to create a studio at home on a budget. Okay, because if you're an actor right now, there's a huge season right now for self-tapes, and a lot of people aren't holding auditions face to face, and so self-tapes are where it's at right now. And so if you're like me and you're looking for ways to create a at-home studio but you had limited funds, then you are on the right page. Okay, so let's get started. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Tip number 1. Look, so you want to make sure that you are working with like a blank canvas, okay? So you want to find a blank wall somewhere in your room, somewhere in the living room, somewhere in the dining room, wherever it is. You want to make sure that you're just working with a blank wall, okay? With no pictures behind it, no, you know, distractions behind it. Somewhere where your face is basically the focal point, okay? And so if you're someone like me and you have a blank wall and you want to get a backdrop, you want to make sure that that space of wall, that piece of wall that you're working with is big enough to hold a backdrop, okay? And so for me, I have a backdrop here, as you can see, and like I said, I'm on a budget, and so I did not buy the little ring thing that holds the backdrop. What I did was I found something on the ceiling to basically connect my backdrop to. You can use what do you call those, thumbtacks, tape, whatever the case may be. So you don't have to really necessarily buy the backdrop holder. You can literally just find a way to have the backdrop hanging on its own. The backdrop does is it just adds a higher level of professionalism to your self-tapes. Now for me, I know for a while I was just using a white wall, but I noticed that when I added the backdrop, it actually made me pop out a little bit more. And now for people of color, I'm noticing that people of color, they really look good against black, or they look good against that blue. And so it's really up to you. You got to find what works for your skin tone. Oh, also, I do want to say that if you do not want to buy a backdrop, then one of the things you can do is you can get a piece of fabric, you can get a towel, a curtain, a sheet, anything with some color to it, anything, a piece of paper, anything to basically put on behind you. You know, you don't have to buy an expensive backdrop. Like this one I have costs about 50 bucks, but there's other ways that you can create this type of look without spending that type of money. So you can look around your house and find wrapping paper, you can find butcher paper, you can find a sheet, a piece of fabric, a curtain, a t-shirt, whatever it is. Make sure though that it's long enough to cover, you know, the frame. Now you don't want a sheet and it stopped right here and you got a piece of white wall hanging and it just looks awkward. You don't want that. You want to make sure that it's covering the whole frame. So tip number 2. Okay, so tip number 1 had kind of 2 tips in it, but we're gonna give that 1 tip away for free. We're gonna go on to tip number 2. Okay, tip number 2, you want to make sure that your lighting is on point. Okay, we don't want no shadows, we don't want no dusty light, you know what I'm saying? We want to make sure that we could see you. We want to see that those facial expressions. We want to see that whole face, okay? Because actors, we're selling, you know, this is what we're selling. So we want to make sure that this is being seen very clearly. So especially for my people of color, okay? So we want to make sure that we have ring lights, okay? Now if you can't afford a ring light, that's totally fine, you know what I'm saying? Luckily I got one for Christmas, so I have a ring light here, and then I also have a ring light here to the side of me. And so what that does is it just creates, you know, lighting all around. I also have great lighting in my room, and so I just turn that light on as well. But one of the things that if you don't have a ring light, something that you can do is you can basically sit in front of a window and let the natural light come in. Now, if you're like, well, I ain't got no windows in my room. Well, another thing you can do is if you have a lamp, You can literally take that lampshade off and turn that light bulb on and create lighting yourself, and just find where in the room that lighting looks best for you. You're gonna have to play with it a little bit, you know, to find the best lighting option for you. But that's also another tip you can do, is have great lighting. Tip number 3. So if you are tall like myself, and you notice that the ring light or the thing that's holding your phone or your tripod is not tall enough to basically get you at the right angle you're trying to be seen at. And so one of the things that I noticed is that sometimes it looks like I'm looking down at the camera versus looking into the camera. And so something that I have to do as a tall person is I have to like basically find things in my home to set my tripod on top of. Okay, so you don't need to buy like an expensive tripod that has all these tall levels. No, get something to put that tripod on top to make sure it's at the right level you need it to be at. So for an example, I filmed an audition today and I had to stand, and so I basically put my tripod on a box. Okay, the other day I used a suitcase to set my tripod on top of. It's just basically get creative. You know what I mean? Use what you have, use what's around you in order to make you look in the best light. Okay, great. Thank you for coming to my page. Thank you for watching this video. If you made it to the end, I appreciate you. So go ahead and subscribe if you're liking what you're hearing, or if you would like to get more tips, because I'm going to be putting out more videos for all my beginner actors, all the things I wish I knew when I was first starting out. And so yeah, thank you in advance. I'm also going to put in the description box a link to where I got this backdrop, as well as I will insert a picture from behind the camera so you can see what my studio looks like, my studio on a budget, what it looks like. Okay, awesome. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you next time. Whoa, do people still do that? I just did it. I'm such an auntie. Okay, bye.